Jean died as an ordinary man, filled with regrets about the choices he made. But fate gave him another chance. He was reborn in the body of a nobleman, inheriting a land full of problems, corruption, hunger, and enemies waiting to attack. With the knowledge from his old life as an industrial designer, Jean started working to rebuild the land, create an army, and dream of a kingdom that could combine magic and technology. The story began in a hospital, where a nurse called a doctor urgently. The patient, Jean Lesson, was struggling to breathe. The doctor rushed to help, asking for a ventilator and starting CPR. Jean, who had worked hard as a mechanical designer for 20 years, was now dying from a stroke caused by overwork. As he lay there, he thought about his life full of struggles. Jean remembered losing his parents in a car crash when he was just a baby. He grew up as an orphan, but he worked hard, graduated, and found a job. Sadly, the job paid very little, and he spent 20 years working there, feeling stuck. His personal life was just as empty. He had been single all his life and never even held a woman's hand. As the doctor called out, "Jean, can you hear me?" Jean felt too tired and full of regret to care. The medical team tried using a life-saving machine, but it was too late. Jean closed his eyes, feeling like he just wanted to rest. When Jean opened his eyes again, he saw a strange screen in front of him. It said, "Welcome to the magical continent Eldora." Confused, he reached out to touch the screen and realized he wasn't in the hospital anymore. The room around him was luxurious, with sparkling crystal lights. Everything felt strange, and for a moment he panicked. A week later, Jean had started to adjust to his new life. In this world, he was called Master Rain. One day, a beautiful servant named Leah brought him tea, and he thanked her kindly. Over the week, he figured out what had happened. He had died and been reborn as Rain Edgar, the youngest son of Grand Duke Aldarian Edgar. Rain discovered that his new family was loving and kind. His older brother often brought him delicious food and even magical water, saying, "This will make you stronger, bro." His sister happily fed him with a big smile, and his mother gave him a special jacket she had made herself, asking him to try it on. For the first time, Rain felt surrounded by love and care, something he had never experienced in his old life. Even though life here seemed wonderful, Rain couldn't help but wonder if this was some kind of reward for his difficult past. The magical continent of Eldora was an amazing place, where magic powered everything. The Caradorial Empire was the largest human kingdom, but there were also elves, dwarves, and other races living on the continent. The Edgar family ruled a large land, covering 300,000 square kilometers and home to nearly 1 million people. Rain's new life was just starting, and he was ready to turn his challenges into a bright future. Rain, now living the life of a noble, had everything he could ever dream of: fine clothes, a luxurious lifestyle, and even Leah, a beautiful and devoted maid who catered to his needs. Yet every time he thought about his blessings, memories of his past life haunted him. He couldn't help but believe that these blessings were a reward for the hard work and struggles he endured before. Leah approached him with a smile and said, "Master Rain, the Lord has something to discuss with you. Please come with me." She led him to the study, where his father, Grand Duke Aldarian Edgar, was busy reviewing reports. Rain greeted his father with the practiced courtesy of a nobleman, patiently awaiting his words. Aldarian looked at his son with a serious expression and asked, "Rain, do you know why I called for you?" The weight of the moment made Rain uneasy, but he softly replied, "No, father." Leaning back in his chair, the Duke explained that Rain had reached the age to manage his own territory. "Have you decided where you'd like to go?" he asked. Rain was stunned. "Inherit a territory?" he asked, confused. The Duke, understanding his youngest son's inexperience, stood and walked over to a large map. He pointed to a region in the northwest and explained, "This will be your territory in the future. While it's relatively safe, there's a major issue with food production due to the lack of magicians." Aldarian's tone grew serious as he continued. "Although our lands are currently secure, the future of the Caradorial Empire is not so optimistic." Hearing this, Rain grew serious, realizing the truth in his father's words. The royal family of the empire was in decline, Political corruption was widespread, and conflict among lords from various territories was constant. Since his rebirth, Rain had experienced care and love for the first time in his life. Determined not to fail those who cared for him, he vowed to protect them. Noticing his son's serious expression, Aldarian grew concerned. "You don't need to feel so pressured," he said gently. "Your older brother, sister, and I are here to support you." Before he could finish, Rain interrupted with a determined question. "If the food problem is resolved, will the safety of the territory improve?" Aldarian smiled faintly, not taking his son's enthusiasm too seriously. "Food issues can't be solved with passion alone. You need to approach it step by step," he replied, thinking he's still just a child, oversimplifying the problem. But Rain, undeterred, thought to himself, "I'm not relying on mere passion. I carry the wisdom of centuries of human industrial revolution." With confidence, he told his father, "Please entrust me with the food problem. I will solve it." Thus began Rain's journey to his new domain, Ashling City. Located at the westernmost edge of his father's territory, it bordered Grand Duke Soren's land to the north, a sworn rival, the Elven territories to the west, and the vast ocean to the south. Its location at the intersection of three regions made it a hotbed for conflict, and constant warfare had left the once fertile land barren, with its population and resources severely depleted. As he traveled, Rain read through the documents detailing the condition of his new domain. He knew that rebuilding Ashling City would require increasing the population, as a strong workforce was the backbone of any industrial revolution. The challenge was immense, but Rain felt ready. To his surprise, he wasn't starting entirely from scratch. Since his rebirth, he had discovered an unusual ability. He could see and assess the talents of individuals by observing their stats. He had already tested this ability on his family, giving him a rough understanding of the people in this new world. As Leah, his loyal companion, watched him with a worried expression, Rain focused on the path ahead. He was determined to transform Ashling City into a thriving land, no matter the obstacles in his way. Rain strategized his plans as his carriage neared Ashling City. His top priority was clear: recruiting talented individuals to help him rebuild the territory. Meanwhile, Leah silently recalled the Duke's instructions to watch over Rain and ensure he didn't cause trouble. Watching her master lost in thought, she prayed quietly that he wouldn't stir up chaos. In Ashling City, tension brewed at the Lord's mansion. A nervous official informed a masked man that the youngest son of the Grand Duke would arrive that day. "Should we act now?" he asked anxiously. The masked man, calm and calculating, dismissed the idea. "Not yet," he instructed. "Wait for the master's next orders." The man in the purple suit voiced his concerns, fearing that Rain might uncover their fraudulent financial schemes. But the masked man chuckled coldly. "A spoiled noble brat like him wouldn't understand financial records," he sneered. "Just give him some random accounts to confuse him." Standing, the masked man added, "Let's go greet him properly. He'll be here soon." As they departed, a chilling thought lingered in the masked man's mind. "Aldarian, it's time for you to pay for your crimes." Rain's carriage finally arrived at the city. Looking out, he observed the barren land and deduced it was due to the lack of population. He asked Leah for the map of the area, studying it carefully. As he traced the river on the map, an idea sparked in his mind: dredge the river to the west and build a canal connecting it to the southern seaport. He was deep in thought when a desperate voice broke his focus. A young woman was pleading with her father to stop gambling. She knelt on the ground, crying, and begged him not to use the money needed for her mother's treatment. The man, enraged and consumed by greed, demanded the money and raised his hand to strike her. Before he could land the blow, Rain intervened with a swift punch, sending the man sprawling to the ground. Though his hand throbbed with pain, this being his first time throwing a punch, Rain stood firm, his eyes blazing with fury. Leah rushed to his side, inspecting his hand and scolding him. "Next time, Master Rain, tell me in advance if you plan to fight. I'll prepare your protective gear." Rain chuckled and replied, "It was impulsive. There wouldn't have been time to prepare." He then ordered Leah to check on the girl while he confronted the gambler. Staring at the man, Rain's sharp gaze was full of disdain. You were ready to waste life-saving money on gambling and even hit your own daughter. Are you out of your mind? He demanded. Trembling, the man stuttered. Who are you? Rain stepped closer, gripping the man's shoulder. Who I am doesn't matter, he said coldly. What matters is this. If I hear you've been to a casino again, I'll have your head. The man, terrified by Rain's words and his icy glare, fled in tears, vowing never to gamble again. Turning back to the girl, Rain asked if she was all right. She thanked him profusely, explaining how helpless she would have been if the money had been lost. Rain activated his unique ability, scanning her physical state. Though her stats were average, he discovered she had a rare, holy body for agriculture, which could make her invaluable for future farming. Seeing her potential, Rain invited her to join their ride to town. The girl hesitated, apologizing for her dirty appearance and worrying she might soil the carriage. But Rain dismissed her concerns with a kind smile. It's just a few wooden planks. Cleanliness doesn't matter. Besides, I have a few questions. The girl wondered what he wanted to ask. With a cold, imposing expression, Rain asked, how can there be a casino in such a poor place? That was just an intro. Comment if you want a full video. And turn on the notification bell so you won't miss cool manhwa recaps.